Welcome back. Not much to say this time. We're just going to go straight into Bug Fables by Jankmo. Really excited for this. Paper Mario-esque, really tight movement. So Jankmo, go ahead and take it away.
So my reason for choosing this as my one run for One-and-Done-athon is that I believe the first speedrun that I remember watching was a Paper Mario 64 glitchless speedrun. And that kind of got me interested in speedrunning. And I found out about this game, I picked it up, and when I played it, I got very sucked into it. It's a hidden gem, and in addition, I also think this game deserves to be showcased on GDQ because it is a hidden gem. It's not very well known about, but I feel like it deserves to be known better. So there's my reason. Do the people on my couch want to introduce themselves?
You go first, Ash.
Okay. Hi, I'm Ash. I don't run this game as well as Jank does. That's why I'm not the person running it.
Hi, I'm Cyan, and I also don't run this game as well as Jank does. Once again, why I am on commentary.
Well, I mean, to be fair, there's only one person currently who runs the game better than me. So this is an 90% glitchless run, so our goal is we're just going to beat the game. Going through the story as intended. Even though this is a glitchless run, there are a couple exploits that we don't consider glitches. We just make use of the game's intended mechanics. So I'm going to go ahead and start creating the file, and the time will start when I say yes to the file creation.
You're not doing a moke.
This is great.
Okay. Okay. So, we're ready to start?
Yep. Just go ahead and give us a count.
Yep. Timer starts when I didn't have my splits open. Whoops. Okay. That's important. Okay. Time starts in 3, 2, 1, go.
Alrighty, so we're just going through the introduction here. We get like a bit of a lore drop of we are explorers and we are here to find the everlasting sapling, which the queen wants, and we don't really know why she wants it, but we're just explorers. We're gonna do as we say, as we're told.
Yep, so we're going to be introduced to our first two heroes, Kabu the Beetle and V the Bee.
And we just get a tutorial fight coming up here, which, because we are trying to prove that we're really, like, we're the ones who are set to be the explorers, like, we're going to be, like, the best, so we fail every attack.
Yeah, we're gonna show Maki here that we are the absolute worst, and because of that, he's going to accept us. We're gonna be so bad that we're even going to use our item here to heal a single HP.
Yep.
It is faster to do that. That's why we do that. And we also need to have an empty inventory going into chapter 2.
Exactly. So yeah, we passed the trial, even though we played as badly as we possibly could. Things are going great so far.
Nice.
So you may notice the chapter name is A Dysfunctional Trio, but there's only 2 of us, so that implies that there's going to be a 3rd character who will be joining us in this chapter.
Sure do love when the game spoils itself.
So there we're going to talk to artists to pick up the hard mode medal. We'll be using that on 2 fights later on.
You may be asking, why would hard mode ever possibly be faster? And, well, you'll see when we get there.
Yep. it's kind of cool that this game has like kind of a adjustable difficulty setting. It was actually kind of designed around hard mode, but they just made it a adjustable thing.
And now we get our tutorial for one of our overworld abilities, Kabu's Horn Swipe, which he can use to cut grass.
Yep, and we're gonna make use of it by cutting this bush to get a honey drop. So here is the entrance to Snake Mouth Den, which apparently is a very scary dungeon that no explorer who has entered it ever exited it.
Yeah, so we're going to take that on immediately as the first thing that we do in this game.
Yep. There's a cool little trick I'm going to try to do coming up.
There's supposed to be a little tutorial here that shows you V's overworld ability. We can skip that just by jumping around the trigger for it.
Yep. In this next room, there's going to be our first instance of something called an ability jump, where we buffer our ability and then jump, and then in midair we can use the ability.
We are going to use this a lot later on.
Yep. Ideally, you like hit that rock off the vine, but I was only able to cut the vine. But ideally, you can hit the rock off the vine and immediately make it land on the switch. All right, so it's someone. It causes a mushroom to fall down, and we collect it, obviously, but it's a trap. And fun fact, you can't actually grab that mushroom with the beamerang.
Yep, normally you can pick up items by throwing the beamerang, kind of like Cooper or Koops from Paper Mario. But no, not that one, because if we picked it up with the beamerang, then that would kind of prevent the story from going on.
Sometimes you can actually buffer an ability if you press the B button, like entering the cutscene. And sometimes I like switch to V and threw the beamerang at the mushroom, and it's like, I wish I could actually grab the mushroom with the beamerang because that would have been sick. Oops, I see someone in chat asking if English is the fastest language for this game. Actually, no.
Did you just forget to turn it to Japanese?
No, I'm playing in English for the fans. Usually I play it in Japanese.
How are you
I'll
gonna get
out...
world record without the 10 seconds saved by Japanese?
I'll point out where Japanese actually saves time. Okay, so there's a big scary spider, and V leaves us behind. Or V leaves Kagu behind, but we can't actually do anything to this guy. So we're just gonna do nothing a couple times.
And we just valiantly do not attack.
Yeah.
This is the tutorial for doing nothing.
Yeah, like it even forces you to do nothing because once the spider goes in the air, Kagu realizes he can't reach. He can't reach it.
Imagine jumping.
And so now we're actually going to break the web and flee with the moth held captive from the spider once it's broken.
Now this web has exactly 9 HP.
So we are going to fail this attack.
Because failing attacks is fast.
Also, Kabu's attack fail animation is hilarious.
I think you actually had that as your profile picture once. It's amazing.
Yes. Oh, my current profile picture on Discord is probably one of my favorite clips. Probably one of my favorite clips on my channel.
4 seed on V plus. Was it attack and defense up or just attack?
It was
up?
attack up. We'll see that boss later. Cyan loves that boss.
I hate it with a passion.
That boss gives Cyan the worst RNG.
Well, personally, I've lost like 6 minutes to that boss before, so I know the pain. And my profile picture is pretty much an indication of that.
Anyways, we have now saved the moth, and he tells us his name is Leaf, and we just kind of go on. He tells us about saving because we didn't get the saving tutorial earlier on.
Yep.
That was
Wait,
right
does he
after we
not
left
tell
the
you about
city.
saving if you got the save tutorial?
Yeah.
Yep.
Daily reminder to use the D-pad here, by the way.
Oh yeah, there's one angled throw right there that Jankmo just hit, where
So what
it's,
happens?
It's easier.
Yeah,
on
he hit
angle
the switch, but while the boomerang was flying towards the switch, he fell into the water, so he could respawn closer to where he needs to go.
And respawn while the cutscene's happening, so yeah, we don't have to backtrack.
And now we find out that our moth friend that we just saved apparently knows ice magic.
And does not recall knowing such ice magic.
So immediately we tell him do it again, twice.
Yeah.
We're
So
gonna
this battle
tell him to do
introduces
it a lot.
this battle introduces something called turn relay, which yeah, we will be using a lot. The drawback to every character can give up their turn once to another character. The drawback being every time a character attacks in a turn, they lose one attack.
Yeah, so basically, if you were to give 3 turns, like all 3 turns to a single character, the first attack would do 3 damage, and then it would do 2, and then 1. So yeah, that's the big drawback.
Oh, worth noting, the character in front has +1 attack in exchange for being targeted more.
We don't care about the being targeted more because we can block. Typically.
Typically. Sometimes we can block.
Okay, so introducing something called introducing geysers, which are not very well liked because every time you enter the room, their patterns are kind of random.
Yeah,
Why
it's
is
just
it always the things that relate to freezing that are random?
a good
The devs hate us.
Yeah, so in the fight with the jelly shrooms, you saw that Leaf's ice froze the enemies. In that specific fight, it's not random, that they have a 100% chance to freeze. But on most enemies, Leaf's ice attacks are a random chance to freeze, and it's different per enemy. And we're gonna try to use freezing a lot. And it could go very well or very bad, depending on how good RNG wants to be.
Another thing about statuses on enemies is they build resistances, so the more you inflict a specific status on an enemy, the less likely it's to get inflicted with it again.
Yeah, specifically for freeze, its resistance increases by 13% every time it gets frozen. So like, the boss of this chapter has initially a 30% freeze chance. If you freeze it once, then the next one would be 17, etc.
which is why we always have the fabled triple freeze.
0.2%.
Yeah, you use ice.
Yeah.
We're gonna use Icefall 3 times on the first boss. Dang, spoilers. Can't believe we're leaking strats.
Oh yeah, coming up in this room, there's one specific jelly shroom that really likes to jump scare us, so we specifically take time out of our way just to freeze it.
Yeah.
That jelly shroom is basically placed specifically to screw you over.
Yeah. I don't know if there's any way you can really get around freezing it. Like it's just in the way completely. Alright, so we're gonna make our way towards the treasure room, which will contain one of the artifacts, which are the keys to unlock, which are the keys towards the everlasting sapling.
Wow, look at the shiny thing.
Yeah, and also this is the part where playing in Japanese actually saves time. So if you notice here, the text when we collect this artifact scrolls on its own, and it scrolls character by character, and Japanese text has less character than the English less characters than the English text.
Yeah, so that's the only place it really saves much time. I don't think there are any spots where Japanese has fewer text boxes than English.
There's
I don't
one
know if,
interesting
like-
note.
Yeah, go ahead.
With English, there's some sections, specifically like the intro and some points in chapter 5, where we found out recently that English actually saves just a few frames due to something with like how the cutscenes are getting loaded.
Yeah, it's kind of weird.
This game has some serious spaghetti code.
Yeah.
No offense to the devs, but it does have some serious spaghetti code considering that there is a credits warp.
Yeah.
Alright, so now we're fighting the spider, and for some reason we can actually damage it now with the power of our newfound friend. So after this attack, we are entering the second phase where it's going to summon 2 enemies. And this is going to give you an example of how good Icefall is. Icefall is actually like a really good skill.
Yeah, it's our best skill that can hit multiple enemies at once. First, he wants to flip over that Anichis though, because if you don't flip it over, it has, I think, 2 defense.
I'm looking for if either the first or third Icefall of Spider.
And we got
Well,
neither.
rip the triple freeze. Ooh, we got 2 funny attacks though.
Yep, anyone want to explain double mashing?
Yes. So, the input system in this game
Ooh, there's a freeze.
is a bit weird in the sense that we can switch between controller inputs and keyboard inputs. So we can break the mashing cap by mashing with keyboard and controller at the same time.
Yep. And so the reason I was looking for a freeze on either the first or third Icefall is when you attack a frozen enemy, it does 1 more damage in exchange for breaking it out of the ice.
Yep. That lets us actually save a turn on the spider fight.
Yeah. So we've ended the first chapter, and we've gotten one of, actually, I think 3 artifacts.
Yeah, there are only 3 artifacts. Yeah, that's true.
Yeah. But there's 7 chapters.
I wonder what's gonna happen in the later chapters.
No foreshadowing whatsoever here.
It's almost like something bad is gonna happen.
Anyways, that was a sub 15 chapter 1.
Yeah, 14.3x. That's actually pretty decent, especially for a marathon. So in this cutscene, we're basically going to talk about how usually exploration teams only allow 2 members, but they are going to give us the name of Team Snakemouth for braving Snakemouth Den and allow us to have Leaf tag along as well.
Because why not?
So now we are just going to meet our queen, and so this segment is like 5 minutes of cutscenes before any like actually interesting gameplay happens.
Wow. Such interesting cutscenes. No, but this is Ant City. This is basically like the hub. Like the
Yeah.
main. It's like your Toad Town or your Rogue Port.
One thing I do want to bring note to is that it is faster to have certain characters in the front of your party for different cutscenes. So you'll see that happen a lot, where in this case we wanted Leaf up front, the moth, so that way that when you leave this cutscene, Leaf is all the way in the back and all the party members go towards Leaf.
Yep. It's not going to matter so much later once we get a certain ability.
But yeah, for now, until we get that ability, it's nice little time save. So it's not just random switching that you see him doing. I mean, sometimes it is just random switching for no reason, because there's nothing better to do.
will say, at least for me, this next chapter is a big reset point.
I would say
For
so
many
too,
runners.
especially for world record attempts.
Zaspin with fever.
Yeah. There's like what I consider like the RNG like trifecta of bosses, because there's 3 bosses in a row that are very RNG dependent, and that they can just completely screw you over.
I mean, technically the third one isn't in chapter 2.
Yeah. So I actually checked a couple things to get some discoveries, so we can actually get a good amount of berries early on, because we kind of need them to buy things.
Yeah, like visiting certain places or interacting with certain objects and stuff gives you discoveries, which you can trade in for rewards in the library
Yep.
there.
So we're going to be trading for berries, and also you may notice in Snake Mouth Den, I picked up a crystal berry, which are basically like the star pieces of this game.
Yep, and we can use them later once we unlock a certain shop to buy rare metals, which we're going to be heavily abusing.
Yep, may or may not be one of the RNG bosses that I was alluding to. Alright, so we are going to first go this way and get something called a bad book. So these are things that we can actually turn in later for a pretty good amount of berries.
I will say casually, this is probably one of my favorite side quests. Because the NPC that you give the bad books to just has some of my favorite dialogue.
Yeah, the dialogue is really great. Like, just all of the dialogue in this game is so well crafted.
Yep, so
obviously, you don't get to see much of it here because it's a speed run, but like, if you want to get the true experience of this game, go and play this game on your own and read all of the dialogue. It is so good.
We are going to cook a mushroom, and that's gonna completely heal us. So now we are going on to the next area.
Yeah, we're forced to do that cooking tutorial because Leaf is hungry because he's been stuck in Snake Mouth for who knows how long.
Yep. So before we go on, we're gonna buy a couple items.
Spicy berries boost an ally's attack for 2 turns. Burly berries boost an ally's defense for 2 turns. We're gonna use the spicy berries as is. The burly berries, we're gonna actually cook them into something else that you'll see. So here we have an encounter with a wasp trooper, and these wasps are kind of alluded to be like the bad guys. We don't really see much of them until later, but I mean, like, our first encounter, they're literally just harassing a scientist for no real reason.
About a 50% chance that he's gonna freeze, and if he freezes, it actually skips us an attack, but...
Did not happen.
It's patched, clearly.
Yep. But we can still beat it this turn as long as I hit my active commands.
So that's actually our first instance of an enemy with defense. Defense works just how you would think it would. It just subtracts from your attack.
There are
That's
some
all.
interesting interactions with defense that
Yeah,
will be
there
amusing,
are.
though.
It works
will
how you
get to
think
that
it
later.
would for the time being.
Yeah, for the time being.
Yeah.
Once we get to some like stat buffs and ailments, then it becomes trickier. But for now, it is exactly how you think it is.
Yeah, so you may notice Kabu has the same attack as V and Leaf, but sometimes he does a little bit extra, and that's because his basic attack pierces 1 point of defense. So here we are going to actually farm some berries. We want to farm berries until we have 9, and I got some random berry drops earlier to help me out, so now we need 2 here. These bushes will actually always drop berries.
And we've already got 9. That was some very quick farming.
Yeah, ideally, that's basically how it goes.
Ideally, you don't have to farm at all, because
Well, that's true.
The jelly shrooms that you fight in Snake Mouth can drop 10% of the time a red berry. And if it drops it, you pick it up, you don't have to worry about doing any of this farming. Or if you're doing another route.
Yeah, there's a second route that basically impacts everything from here on to like the mid game.
And like the middle of chapter 4.
Yeah, top runners don't really go for it. I personally enjoy it a bit more.
The route for this game is actually quite well written, very detailed, and easy to follow.
Yes, especially recently when our friend Elu, who is in chat right now, I saw him earlier, updated or made his own version of the route, which is like amazing for beginners. It is, it goes into so much detail.
Yeah, the route I'm going to be doing is basically the world record route with a couple marathon safety strats. But there's not too many differences between like what beginner routes and world record routes do. I'm going to save here because this is a section that's actually easy to kill your run on.
Ah, yes, cooking.
All right, let's remember our cooking inputs.
So I just want to mention, story-wise, we have entered the Golden Settlement and we have started the festival, which is kind of like this this thing. It's for the goddess Venus that they all like worship here. However, no one's really seen her, so that's always interesting.
Okay, assuming everything goes well, I will have successfully done the cooking.
Yeah, so what Jank did, he cooked a few items. He cooked 2 burley bombs and an abomination. So the burley bombs, you throw them at an opponent, they do a little bit of damage, and importantly, they give defense down for 2 turns, or 3 turns to adjacent. That'll be important for how we abuse weird mechanics involving piercing moves and defense drops. But we'll get to that when we get to that. The other thing that's interesting was an abomination, which, if you know what this item does, it does 10 damage to everyone, including yourself. You may wonder, why would you want to do that? And, well, it's 10 damage, and if we can survive it, then it's very useful for a certain fight coming up.
Yep. Keyword if.
Yeah, we'll be using the defense up with defense interaction, like on the chapter boss and in another boss of his chapter.
Also, I know this is a glitchless run, but I feel like I should point out the abomination is actually one of the items that completely tore apart this game from a glitched route perspective.
Yes.
Basically, with it, we can get like some really interesting behaviors, including text storage, manipulating dialogue triggers, a bunch of stuff, really.
Yeah, before the most recent patch, which fixed it because it was easy to get it on accident, if you did a certain thing with an abomination, you'd be able to get text on screen, and with text on screen, like moving with text on the screen, and with that, you can manipulate a whole lot of things. And with that and a bunch of other weird things that you could do with text on screen, you can warp to the end of the game from chapter 2. Like, we've already passed the point of the credits warp.
Alright, so this is Whack-A-Worm. This is like a 1-minute auto-scroller. You just have to hit at least 15 worms and you'll get the reward. This is kind of like your biggest break in the run, actually.
Reminder to hydrate.
Yep.
Hydrate.
And by the way, I was just doing a bunch of ability jumps, but for this purpose, they're basically just swag, but everyone does ability jumps for this.
You did get weak stomach, right?
Yes, I saw weak stomach. There was one medal there for winning the eating contest that we did earlier when we were explaining text storage. There was an eating contest going on. And one of the losers of that eating contest gives us a medal called Weak Stomach, which
Yeah.
that item works by if you eat any healing item, it will poison the party member who ate it, as long as they have Weak Stomach
such
equipped.
a medal? Why would you want such a medal? Well, it may or may not have to do with other metals dealing with poison later on.
We also just got our next overworld ability, which is Beamerang Hold, or Beamerang Halt. And how it works is, it completely defies physics, which Leaf mentions multiple times. But
Nobody else seems to care.
He has ice magic.
yeah. But if you just keep holding the ability button after you throw out the Beamerang, it just keeps holding in place. And
Okay.
now, for our final ceremony, we are apparently now fighting. But we can only have 2 party members this fight.
There's a
I got the
different.
bad
Defense up. It doesn't waste too much time, but it is a very small time loss. What was I gonna say? There is like the alternate route that we talked about a little bit earlier does a different strat for this fight with Leaf and Kabu instead to actually get an extra 15 EXP, and that changes some stuff, which allows a 3-turn on the chapter boss and yeah, some other EXP running shenanigans later on.
It's
May or may
basically
not
just
have
like
to
an
do with-
earlier level up, so you have more like skills and such.
May or may not have to do with the chapter boss.
Yep.
Yeah, I guess now's a good time to mention that our EXP route is incredibly tight, and the reason it's routed so tightly is for a boss all the way in chapter 6.
Right, so here we are in Lower Golden Hills, which is considered by many to be one of the hardest parts of the run. There's a lot of really difficult strats, especially things that I'm going to be doing or trying to do.
Alright, we can talk about one of the most, in my opinion, one of the most divisive strats in this run.
Let's talk about Leaf Strat.
Yes. In the next room, after Jankmo grabs the
Oh,
crank
God.
here,
Oh,
if he
that
can
was
grab the
sketch.
crank.
That was really sketch.
So we're gonna use this crank to go up to one of the weirdest rooms in the game, in my opinion.
So I don't even know why or how this works, but it does. So we're gonna see Jank do it, and
Hopefully.
yeah, hopefully.
It's
We'll see him
probably the
attempt to do
hardest
it.
strat. Probably the hardest skill-based strat of this run.
I knew that was too far. I'll give it a couple tries.
Oof. Yeah, so we're essentially trying to freeze the enemy as we jump onto it. Normally you'd have to wait for your enemy to come in front and then you'd freeze it and then jump on. But we could just do that instead. And all this time he's been jumping to avoid respawn triggers. So that
Nice!
when he grabs this item, he can respawn all the way at the beginning of the room and save like 15 seconds if you get it first try.
Easy game. Easy game, easy strat. That saves 16 seconds. Well, not if you do a second try, but it still saves time over the normal strat, I think. What I did.
Probably the craziest strat, in my opinion.
There are some other like tighter strats, like left side skip, but they're not as crazy as that one.
Easy. Yeah, in a dungeon in chapter 4, there are some pretty wild strats too.
I haven't seen much of the new sandcastle strats.
Okay, so we're actually gonna intentionally fight this enemy here.
Yeah, like I said, the EXP route's very tight, and we want level up right now.
Please freeze. Oh my god. Nice RNG.
So level ups are important in two ways. Well, first way is you get to rank up either HP, TP, or MP. HP is self-explanatory. TP is used for your skills, which we use a lot, and MP is used for medals, which we also use a lot, but we'll level that up later. And the second reason is because you get a full heal every time you level up, and later in the game, healing is a lot harder to come by.
Right. So we're actually going to get that magic seed. That's a safety strat. If you're going for world record attempts, you actually skip that.
Also, level ups are a very good place to kill the run by missing an input and then just leveling up the wrong stat, which completely messes with the routing.
All right, so this is the first known area where you can actually soft lock right before this cutscene. So I'm going to be very careful here.
Yes, there's an issue on the current patch for whatever reason with so there's in cutscenes that all the characters have to walk to a certain spot. There's a failsafe where if they get stuck and can't walk to it, they'll just be teleported. And for some reason on the current patch, that failsafe will just decide not to work sometimes. And that's a soft lock.
Mm-hmm. There's another one as well coming up. At least I could save right before.
Your stream go down?
I think you might have lost a little bit of connection. All right, sorry about that, y'all. Short technical difficulty, internet hiccup, but we're back. Jankmo, whenever you're ready, we can go ahead and restart the timer.
Okay. So, 3, 2. Let's explain what we missed first.
You barely missed anything. We were just heading back to the middle room.
So I equipped hard mode and HP plus on Kabu for this one fight. We'll explain
I'll
that.
explain it while it's happening.
We'll explain that when the fight comes. So, okay, let's resume in 3, 2, 1, go. Okay, so this fight is actually kind of technical, but luckily I got a chart with me.
Yeah, so this is one of the two fights that we've literally made flow charts for because it can go things can go so many different ways. Ideally, this fight ends in 2 turns. This is the fight we use the Abomination on. You notice we put the HP plus on Kabu because that puts him at 11 HP, which will survive the Abomination. So yeah, ideally he doesn't get attacked. It doesn't help that we're on hard mode, which I'll talk about the piercing exploit later once it becomes more relevant. But obviously on hard mode they're going to do more damage, and super blocking is basically required to avoid damage. But we did get the 2 turns, so.
Yep. This is the fight where having the magic seed makes it a little bit more consistent.
Yep.
But in world record attempts, if Kabu gets hit, you're kind of screwed. Nice thing about the
I guess
nice thing about the Abomination is that it's kind of like a fast reset button. When you actually game over on a required fight in this game, you can actually just retry instantly. All right, sorry, Ash, what were you gonna say?
Yeah, I was gonna say that one of the devs is actually in chat right now. So say hi to them. Gino.
Hi, Gino.
Did most of the story stuff for this game. We love your game. We're doing glitchless, so we're not really breaking it.
This time.
We gotta be really careful here. We have to feed offerings to these fly traps, and if we give them the wrong thing, we have to fight a Venus Butt, and that throws us completely off the XP route. I'm also gonna save here. Yeah. I'm also gonna save here because we're gonna be walking through this area with 1 HP, and there's a chomper that can first strike you. And if you die here, you can't reload. You can't like. You have to reload your last save. Okay, I don't even think I'm doing the respawn chart correctly. I went the wrong way, but I'm still gonna go for it. I'm gonna put HP plus on V for this upcoming fight.
Yeah, not required, but it is for safety. Because a lot can go wrong.
Yep. Okay, yeah, I didn't do it right. Oh, I wasn't expecting the stance to respawn there, but okay. Usually, if you do it right, you can like respawn here. I have never seen that guy fall.
I have seen him fall before. Usually there's like a boundaries where you can't get past, but sometimes it just randomly gets past it for no
In my first PB,
reason.
he got on the fly trap, and he's not supposed to be able to, but somehow it happened, and it was really weird.
I was actually just watching one of my older clips from a while ago, but it was an any percent run with Ash and I, and the chomper in this room got on a fly trap as well, which
Oh
was
my God, I
very
think I remember
scary.
So we're gonna save again, because this room, this is another one of those big possible softlock areas. V can get stuck on the staircase, and if she does, you're stuck. That happened on the very first run of this game that I did.
Oh my God.
All right, so here's Cyan's favorite boss, Venus Guardian.
So yeah, I guess now I should explain the defense piercing thing. We still have hard mode on. That is because, for twofold reasons. The boss here has defense on hard mode and has less HP on hard mode. So we're gonna take full advantage of that. If an enemy has defense down, like an enemy that originally had defense, has defense down, piercing moves will still get the piercing bonus, even though they're at 0 defense. So basically you're just getting a boost in damage. And
So you can
V's
see-
Hurricane, oh yeah, Kabu's horn.
Yeah, Kabu's attack right here does 4 damage.
Yeah, Kabu's horn, but also V's Hurricane Toss, which we got when we got the Boomerang Halt, pierces 1 defense. So, yeah, we're gonna be taking full advantage of all that to do extra damage and beat this fight in 4 turns.
We also have Leaf at 1 HP right now, but luckily that's fine. If one party member dies here, as long as it isn't V, we're still safe.
As long as it doesn't do defense up. It did attack
Yeah.
up, which is kind of spooky, actually.
Hey, at least it wasn't 4 Cs on V.
That's exactly what the clip of my profile picture is. It had attack up, and it did an attack where it flings a bunch of seeds, and V was in the back. It hit her 4 times, and Super Guardian each of them did 2 each. So she was left with 1 health,
Yeah.
and then she just died the next turn.
Yeah, so that's the downside to hard mode.
That's an example of how bad this boss can go. It can just kill you.
And we also did mention earlier that if you're in front, there's a higher chance of you getting hit. So the fact
So,
that it
yeah,
hit
V
V
in
in the
the
back 4 times is just craziness.
Yeah, so instead of like an equal chance all around, it's 60% to target the front and 20% for each of the 2 in the back.
All right, so there's 2 of the 3 RNG trifecta. The next boss we're going to fight is also very kind of RNG.
The next boss we fight can heal. And yeah, that's basically all we need to say.
It also has an attack that can hit everyone.
Yes, and heal a lot.
Ideally, you beat it in 4 turns, but if it heals too much, you have to take 1 or even 2 extra turns. Or it can just kill you.
Can't forget that possibility.
Mm-hmm. Don't forget to take off hard mode.
Yup. I think in the route, it just says it in big words. Take
Yeah,
off
I
hard
think
mode.
twice.
All right, so we're gonna go back to the queen again. The ants actually are just digging everywhere, and they're actually making are basically our fast travel for this game, which is really nice.
now we've acquired the second of 3 artifacts, and we're going to learn that the third artifact is just in the Bee Kingdom, hanging out.
Powering the entire
Yes.
honey facility that they have.
But luckily, one of the scientists from the Bee Kingdom has created a replica, which will power the facility just the same way, except it's not magic, and that way we can take the artifact. So basically, everything should just be smooth sailing. We just need to get to the Bee Kingdom, and it'll be a cool little tour of the honey factory, and then we'll replace the artifact. That'll be it, right?
Yep. It's worth noting that V is from the Bee Kingdom, but she doesn't really have a particularly good relationship with her people.
As we see now, she is grumpy.
Yeah, because most bees are supposed to be like painters and artists, but V wanted to be an explorer, and like the idea of an explorer bee apparently is kind of like alien in the bug world. Okay.
There we turn in a bad book for 35 berries. It's a lot. That gets us 3 spicy berries, which is exactly what we need to get.
Yep. We're also going to be selling the magic seed. So the Vigu boss can actually possibly give you heart seeds. And if you get any heart seeds that you get, you'll have to sell.
Because we need inventory space.
Yep.
Like always.
Alright, so we're going to do some shopping. We're going to buy a honey drop, 3 aphid eggs, and a danger shroom. And we're also going to be talking to Levi and Celia to help them on their quest to pursue the infamous Monsieur Scarlet.
Yep.
Scarlet has
so
been
this
posting
is,
up. Oh, sorry.
Yeah,
Scarlet
this
has
is
been
the
posting up like
singular-
fake things.
It's the
Sorry.
singular side quest that we do, apart from the bad book quest.
But yeah, Scarlet has been posting up like fake side quests basically for explorers and then luring them into his den and just like hurting them, and because he has lifesteal, it's basically giving him life.
Yeah.
So
It's actually,
we come in and we're like,
Yeah.
can we put a stop to this? And that's what we're about to do right now.
despite the name and looks, it's actually the only male ant. He's actually the only male ant in the game. And in the lore, he apparently has a husband, so there you go.
Yeah, we actually grabbed a couple medals from artists there. Those were hard mode rewards. If you beat bosses, most bosses, if you beat them on hard mode, then you'll get a reward from artists. If you don't, then you can just buy them. But we're going to be taking big advantage of those reward medals, especially Break.
Yep, and Spiky Bud we're going to be using on 2 fights, this being one of them.
Yep. Spiky Bod, if an enemy makes contact with Kabu and you block it, it'll do 1 damage to the enemy. So we're going to use that to hopefully mitigate some of the lifesteal in this fight.
Alright, so we want to pay close attention to how much he actually heals here.
If he heals more than 4 HP total
that's
throughout the
bad.
fight, then he needs to do an extra turn.
You don't want to miss blocks, and I missed a block, so that's kind of scary.
We just hope for no AoE here. It's like the best outcome.
Alright, that's 3.
Yeah. V's at would have bit lower health than I would like. Ah, dang, barely. So he's gonna level 1 here.
Yeah, that sucks. Whatever.
Hopefully he doesn't AoE. The AoE can heal a ton HP, and if he AoEs, there's a possibility I might not even beat
Yeah,
him
I think
next turn.
it heals 8 if you like blocking it.
Okay.
Okay, just do 5 damage.
Oh, we've had attack down. Whoops. It's faster to attack with Leaf, but I didn't realize he had attack down.
We get to see the Kabu fail animation again. It's all good.
I did that on purpose, by the way. Yep.
Alright, now you may be thinking, why would you do a side quest that is not relevant to the main story at all? The reward for this must be incredibly good for you to do it, right? And yeah, you'd be right. So you're gonna see that we don't actually get anything immediately. What we do get is access to a place.
A
We're going
very
to go to that place right now.
an interesting place. One that we shall not speak of around the Queen. There may or may not be some shady business going on there.
Isn't that the name of the track that plays?
Dodgy business.
Oh,
Yeah.
it's Dodgy
Yeah.
Business, yeah.
Yeah, it's like an underground bar. And they only let like certain people in, like if they know a passcode. But before heading there, we are actually going to. Here's another quest we're going to take on. We can actually stay at this inn for free, and we're going to heal here because we are quite damaged from the Scarlet fight, and it also gives us a free honey drop.
Yeah,
I
and
love
coming
how
up
you
is-
say free.
Coming
So-
up is
The
Is,
intention of this side quest is that this innkeeper wants a good review for their inn, so they're nice enough to let us stay for free and give us the honey drop. However, we, being the greedy and speedy bugs that we are, just
how many
take
rerolls,
the
by the way?
heal and leave.
How many rerolls?
Rerolls time.
So in our streams, we like to play an interesting game where there's 2 medals here, and there's a specific one we want. However, we will have to like keep rerolling it until we see it. So we like to play a game where we guess how many times we'll have to reroll it.
This time it was 1. So yeah, down here, they sell. Well, Shades is the character there who sells really strong metals for crystal berries, which are the things we've been collecting.
We just bought the poison attacker.
Yep, and poison attacker. Well, it does what you think it does. It increases your attack by 1 while you're poisoned.
That may or may not
combined-
have
yep.
synergy with the weak stomach medal that we picked up. Yep.
And here we are about to get the best ability in the game. For speedruns, that is.
Well, I mean, it's a good ability regardless.
True.
We're
this
about to
was
go
actually-
fast.
Yeah.
Yep. You
This
thought we were
was
going fast?
added.
We're about to go even faster.
True. So this was added in an update to the game. This was not in the original game when it came out.
Yeah.
I did my entire first playthrough without this ability.
Same.
The initial update that had this actually had a little bit of bugs in it that like kind of dropped your momentum, but they kind of fixed those in the newest patch, which is nice. Yep, so we get the dash.
Yeah, so now we can go really fast.
Yep. There's also some like really cool strats we can do with this, and I think I kind of like the speedrun a little bit better than like PM64 because there's a lot more. This run is like a lot more like movement focused. It's kind of an interesting balance between like skill and RNG, to be honest.
Yeah, and like Paper Mario, you're just spinning everywhere.
Yeah. Yep. So here we are actually going to. There's actually kind of a bit of a tight strat I'm going to try to hit in this fight involving an ice fall.
Yeah, the caravan gets ambushed here. We need to fight off the thieves, the bandits. Specifically, a burglar, a thief, and a wasp scout.
Oh, I missed it. Oh, that's pretty bad.
Oh.
Oh gosh.
Yeah, if you hit it, you want to hit the back too.
Ooh, this is interesting.
Yeah,
I
so
think we're
that's
fine as long as we want to kill the wasp. Prioritize killing the wasp is what you want.
Yeah, because if you leave the wasp last, it can call for backup, and that ruins. Oh, first of all, that loses a lot of time, And second, it ruins the XP route.
One backup is actually recoverable with this route. Nice freezes, actually.
I am so glad that did not target Leaf.
He would have lived because of Superdom.
True.
Alright, so that fight could go a lot better. It is possible to hit all three of them when both the Thief and the Wasp Scout are in the air, but it's very difficult.
I mean, yeah, like you did see he hit both the front and the back, and that would have hit the middle too if it was alive.
Yep.
There's
Yeah.
also a consistent 2-turn strat, which does not require hitting this 3 ice fall.
And
But
barely
in
loses time.
Yeah, it barely loses time, but in exchange you have to spend a few more berries, like 2 more berries.
Yeah, and in this next dungeon, we want to have at least 16 berries. There is a backup we can do if we don't have enough, but the thing with that strat, if you're doing the route I do, and you don't get any like extra berries, if you do go for that strat, you basically have to buy an extra honey drop. And if you don't get like any extra berry drops, you probably just have to heal it. You probably just have to do the backup heal regardless.
Alright, so we're heading up to the hive right now. We have to get checked for impurities.
I mean, in this day and age, honestly, that makes sense.
Yeah, it does. I wonder all the bees are wearing masks.
I never thought of that. I can't unthink of that now.
A little weird that they covered their eyes too, but...
Well, I mean, I guess they can at least see. I hope they can at least see.
Yeah.
All right, so the detection system actually picked something weird up from one of us, and apparently it's Leaf. So we're gonna do something called dissection skip.
I made that first. That was my thing first. So basically, this doctor here specifically gets very close to Leaf and asks about like dissecting him, and then he just freaking pops up a shield out of nowhere and goes, "I don't want this."
That's dissection skip. It's impossible to miss it. It's free.
So we're gonna have to gather all the explorers in front of the Bee Queen. So we're gonna talk to first Jen and Eri, which are like 2 kind of generic ant NPCs. Their names are actually kind of clever. There's 2 optional bosses named Sten and Pisky, and if you put their names together, you get something that looks kind of like it would be pronounced like generic NPC. Yep. Bug Fables social distancing.
Oh god.
Well, see, there's a literal quote in the game, stuff will go back to normal once the lockdown is over, right?
Actually, speaking of lockdown, we're about to go into a lockdown. I can feel it.
In the game.
For some reason, I just feel like we're about to go into a lockdown.
And now we get to go meet the Bee Queen, who, at least from what we've heard from V, we think she's like this crazy, bad person, but actually no.
Yeah, she's very very kind and graceful. I think I don't remember what the devs' comments on her was, but it's like something like when she scolds you, you like won't want to cry or something. I don't remember. It's kind of interesting.
He also has really soothing music too.
Yeah. A lot of the music in this game is...
Yeah, shout out to the music in this game. Shout out to
Tristan
Tristan
Ulrich,
Ulrich, who composed the entire soundtrack to this game. Bug Fables, the everlasting lockdown.
Okay. So now we're entering the honey factory.
And
Nothing could possibly go wrong.
They kind of want to give us a tour, but something code 32.
Kabu's animation here, the shocked animation, it's so good.
Kabu S.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure it's like on Better TV. It's just called Kabu S.
Yeah. Shoutouts to Butterward,
Ah, yes.
because that's the one who uploaded that emote. Alright, so we're gonna be using the ability jump to get that factory pass, I think it was called. I don't even remember what that. Okay, yeah, factory pass. Oh, what a recent discovery. It's actually faster to hit the switch with Leaf. I don't know why, it just is. But we are going to learn an ability called Bubble Shield.
And that is going to be necessary for us to complete this dungeon.
Yep.
Convenient that we just so happen to learn it right now.
Yep. The alternative is V could fly and carry them over, but she kind of just doesn't want to do that. Ooh. That switch hit is actually kind of tight, but I got it, so we can get a pretty fast cycle here.
Yeah, so Bubble Shield is actually really useful because it, like you're seeing there, it repels away enemies. Like, you cannot get an encounter while you're shielded, except you move at half the speed as normal walking speed and you can't jump. So yeah, it has its limits.
There is a pretty interesting strat you can do here called main room cycle skip that saves about 6 seconds, but if you lose it, God help you. Or if you miss it, God help you. Because the cycles are going to be completely off. There was a couple puzzles we're going to do to get a total of 3 factory passes. So here's the first one.
So our overall goal of this dungeon is to rescue a few people who have been locked in places because all the doors got locked.
Oh, also, let's talk about cursed rooms. That one room in Upper Golden Hills is one of the many rooms that we call cursed rooms. We're about to enter another one.
First rooms all have one thing in common, and those are ice block puzzles.
Yep. Freezing enemies. Freezing enemies can be kind of finicky, and also getting enemies onto switches can be kind of finicky. Oh, I almost encountered him, actually.
Yeah, so we're gonna do
that
this
was
puzzle
so
the
scary.
unintended way, which is, like normally you'd get 2 ice blocks and put them both on the switches, and then you'd like refreeze one of the ice blocks so it would unfreeze on the switch. But instead we can just put the enemy on the switch and let it fall out and open the door.
Interesting thing about that crystal berry, I accidentally found an interesting trick where you can get it, like, you can actually get it under the platform, or from under the platform at a ton. Oh, what was that freeze? Please freeze moment.
Please, please.
Brian has a pretty interesting clip called Please Freeze.
Yeah, in some of my earlier runs of this game, I've had some interesting moments with freeze issues, where just it does not land when I need it to land.
Alright, so here's our first usage of the move Dash Through, which basically just hits everything.
It's everything on the ground, that is.
Yeah, and pierces defense.
Yep, and pierces.
Alright, so we've ranked up TP twice. This is our first instance of an MP rank up.
Is coming up, we're going to get some more medals, and we're going to need the MP to use them all.
Yep. So here's a little puzzle that this is actually the only part of the run where you're actually required to use the tattle button. So similar to Paper Mario,
Yeah,
you
the
have
select button on most controllers.
Yeah. So similar to Paper. Interesting. Similar to Paper Mario, you have the ability to like tattle where you can gain insight about like specific areas and also characters. I can safely say that fall has never happened before.
Gotta happen in a marathon at some point.
Let alone GDQ. Get away from me.
Oh my god.
Alright, so here is a fight against 3 Obama honeys, and this fight is actually like kind of interesting. It's dependent on how many freezes we get.
Yeah, I guess this is another flowchart fight, but it doesn't really matter as much. Because you're still gonna finish it in 2 turns.
A triple freeze.
Each of these guys has a 50-50 chance to freeze. At least the first time.
I could have hit that. Okay. Nice. Okay, that's a decent fight.
Is it faster to ice fall there again? I thought it would be.
True. Unoptimal. I could have hit that ice ball earlier. But RNG wise, it was pretty good. Okay, so that finishes what we're gonna call the upper portion of Honey Factory. And now we're gonna make use of that extra MP that we just got from that B-Boop fight.
I do want to mention, someone in chat mentioned that the Obama honeys looked cute, and there's actually an emote on FrankerFaceZ, which is just one of them, and it's called Honey Rage. It is a very good emote.
Alright, so... this room will introduce the reason why we want at least 16 berries.
Yeah, so, you may notice that, we are kind of out of TP from that last fight, or at least very low. Yeah, we're gonna talk to this Venus Bud here. So, after beating Venus, she decided, okay, I guess I'll help you. And you talk to a Venus Bud, you'll find them all around Bulgaria, and talk to one, you can get healed for 8 berries.
Yep, basically the heart blocks of this game. I'm gonna get a magic seed there for safety on the chapter boss.
We're gonna do a cool strat here. Cool kid strat, as it's called.
Yep. There's a couple
That is
more
the
of those we're
community
gonna do.
name for it.
Yep. There's a couple more of those we're gonna do. So here's
this is where the game teaches you about the Beamerang rebound. So like when you use the Beamerang halt, when you let go, it actually goes back farther than where you were originally standing.
Yep.
You can use that to like hit switches.
This is the Honey Nation. It's just like a giant like... it's like a giant like sentient pile of honey.
As we like to call it, a funny nation.
Yes.
It is pretty funny.
There was the reason why that kind of started off was because the world record holder currently for this run, shoutouts to Carillius, by the way, he's been in chat. He was talking about how this boss is pretty funny because it can make you lose time. So naturally, I did the only thing that I could do in the situation, which was Photoshop the crying laughing emoji on this because it looks like an emoji. So.
Okay,
Yeah,
so
so
it can
that's how
it can
a
summon
funny
those
nation was
little
born.
Obama honeys. That ice fall is actually kind of tricky to hit them all, but it's doable. Okay. So inside of them, we're actually Zasp and Matova, who are kind of like, we're not really on very good terms with them.
Considering we
But-
fought them earlier, yeah.
Matova's kind of too prideful to like thank us that we saved her, but Zasp is actually like, he kind of like warms up a little bit to us. Yeah, Matova's pretty much like, kind of like an idol that like a lot of people respect, but she's actually like kind of a nasty person.
I could say a few foul words about her, but this is a PG. this is a family-friendly live stream, so I will not.
Yeah, but Zasp is actually a pretty cool guy.
I don't know why you went for that dash, but that worked.
Yeah, a little bit risky.
So now we have to escort the Overseer here out of this crazy Obama honey-filled room. I don't know where all the Obama honeys appeared in the past, like, 10 seconds while we were talking to the Overseer.
Yeah.
They just multiplied, that's all.
Yeah.
You can't touch any of those Obama honeys. If you do, you have to restart. Alright, so now we are going to be entering the factory core, and this upcoming boss can summon an enemy that, depending on whether or not we get it, depends on what we do in the next couple of segments depends on whether or not we actually get that spawn.
Yep, there is nothing you can do to control the spawn of the enemy. If you
And
get
it's about a 30-second time loss.
Yeah,
Yeah.
it's about a 25% chance on the first 2 turns.
nothing you can do about it at all.
And it can potentially kill you, or like cause you to lose, so. That's why we picked up that magic seed earlier. So this is the heavy drone B33, which is kind of malfunctioning because it won't even be deactivated. So we
Because
have
of the
to
code
just
32
destroy it.
going on, of course.
Yeah, we just have to destroy it.
We actually made use of break there, so if you remember the burly bombs from chapter 2, we now have that in a skill, which is just on leaf for 2 TP, which is fairly good, so we're going to be using it a lot.
Yep.
Alright, so this is the last turn we can get a summon.
These.
I think it's less likely to summon on the second turn. Okay, we're fine.
Nice.
As long as I block this attack. Because this attack does 6 damage to everybody. Nice. Had to swing out with a super block.
Nice.
Okay, no B-Boo. This run is officially good.
B33. Yep. That is B33, and that is chapter 3 complete.
Yeah.
We are about halfway through the run.
Yep, so yeah. Yeah, even though we're only done with 3 chapters, this is about the halfway point of the run. Oh yeah, and also, I'd agree with what people were saying in chat, that song for B33 is a banger. Okay, so we've gotten the 3rd artifact, so third and last artifact, right? So we should be almost done with the game.
Right?
And what's my time at? Jeez, we're gonna blast this estimate.
Yeah, definitely.
You were.
I don't know why you said it so high. Such a short game.
Yeah, when you saved, you were at 110.50. So you're really cruising. This game's easy. What are you talking about?
So we're gonna exit the kingdom, but before that, we're going to pay a visit to V's sister John, and I don't know why she has a bad book lying in her room, but she just does, and we're just gonna take it.
And we're not even gonna talk to her. There's a whole side quest involving reinitiating the bonds between her and V.
So instead, we just kind of bring her into that room, make her see her sister, and just make her walk right past her.
That cutscene is honestly one of my favorite parts of the game. It's very wholesome. Alright, let's go towards the everlasting sapling. We have all the keys to it.
Definitely.
But there's something weird about this artifact. It's only half. It's only half of the artifact.
Spoilers.
Well, they just said it. I saw the dialogue. They just said it, so. Yep. So there's actually more to the Lost Sands than we initially thought. So we're gonna have to come back there.
Apparently, there's this mysterious sand castle that is rumored to exist.
Oh yeah, here's another reroll game coming up.
Oh, yep. Get your guesses in. This time, we're going to get the power exchange medal.
Yep. So Ash actually has a route that goes through this chapter without grabbing this medal. It's kind of cursed. Kind of cursed, not gonna lie.
I'm the only one who ever does it because it is so cursed, and I don't even know if it's faster. It probably isn't, but I'm still gonna do it.
Yeah, I think I was told like it was inconsistent. Oh wow, that's like the best. That's the best possible scenario. It's on the left too, so
0 rerolls on the left. Let's go.
Wow.
Yep.
Yeah. So what power exchange does is it just straight up ups an ally's attack with the drawback that it lowers their defense.
It's basically P up, D down. So we're gonna have to be going back to Defiant Route. And there's a couple of things we're gonna take care of here. So you may notice these items called spicy berries, which raise our attack, but we also have a medal called weak stomach in conjunction with poison attacker. But weird thing is, there's also like this shady Pebu guy that you can buy spicy berries from. The weird thing is that like eating spicy berry on its own won't poison you.
Yeah, it has to be specifically a healing item that'll poison you.
So we're gonna cook them into candies.
Also, yes, that does mean that the speedrun strat is just like having a bunch of sweets and using a bunch of sweets.
Yep. Later it'll be soda.
Yeah, I know. It's a very healthy, very healthy speedrun we've got going on here.
Yeah. Honestly, it kind of makes you feel bad for V because she goes through like most of the poison abuse.
Yeah.
Every character goes through it to some extent, though.
Yeah, like I said in one of my marathon submissions, way back when, we take advantage of V's food poisoning and some really good soda.
I do want to say, you can go first, Jank.
So we bought like an interesting key from that shady guy in the well, and we also got a lot of berries from the mayor. We're also going to go over here to grab the strong start medal.
So what Strong Start does is it gives a party member an extra turn at the beginning of a fight, with the drawback that their exhaustion will double. So like it'll go up by 2.
Yep.
Now, what we can do instead is, instead of using that extra turn to attack, we can use that to use an item. And that's just basically a free extra turn.
Yep. Yeah.
All right, back to the topic of sodas and spicy candies and food poisoning and such. One of the emotes that was made is just an emote of V getting sick from having too many sodas.
Oh my god.
So V Blair, made by the Skulton. Shout out to the Skulton.
Shout out to Skulton, who is also in chat.
Yeah.
Amazing artist.
And has speedrun this game.
He was actually the first to do 1.1 100%.
Yes.
Which was the first run that I verified.
100% is certainly a category.
Yep. It's actually been it's actually much shorter because of glitches that kind of skip a lot of the content.
Yeah. I can't even begin to imagine 100% glitchless.
I mean, that's basically what Skulton's run was, which is why it was the first. The first thing I had to verify was like 12 hours long.
Okay. All right, so we kind of got captured, and all of our stuff has been taken away from us, so we can't really fight these bandit guys. They're gonna have to,
Kabu
like,
found a
sneak
way
around them.
to Kabu found a way to just dig. He's like, oh, did you know beetles are excellent diggers? We're like, why did you not tell us this before? I don't know if it would have been that useful before, but it still would have been good information.
I'm surprised I wasn't caught there. These guys have
yeah.
like pretty interesting eyesight, or like pretty interesting ranges.
Yeah,
you
could
just sort
kinda,
of
like,
stand here and not get caught.
you could just vibe next to them, but if you're like on the other
It's just
side,
free.
but they're looking at you.
That's just free, Cyan.
Yes, the dash is free.
We have some interesting stories with that strat.
Yeah, the world record holder looks at that last dash before entering this room and was constantly like complaining about it, and I've always gotten it first try.
Oh, yeah. Also, the funny beamering bug in this. Oh, jeez, I fell down here. Yeah, there was a beamering bug. There was an interesting thing with the previous patch. You could actually use your beamering while you had nothing, but they removed that now, so you can't actually do that.
That's a D-pad throw, by the way. You could very easily hit that crank if you do a down left angle on the D-pad.
So now we're going to be fighting the boss of all these bandits, and this guy's interesting gimmick is he doesn't let you use items, so we're going to need a pretty interesting strategy here.
Yep, so that's going to be our main thing, using power exchange. And we're also going to be taking heavy advantage of Spiky Bot, since all of his attacks do contact, and he has basically two attacks. They're both contact, and one of them is multi-hit, which does Spiky Bot does damage for each individual hit. So we can do a lot of damage. Ooh, nice.
Alright. Yep, yeah, so coincidentally, Kabu has a move called Taunt, which forces every enemy to target him, or every enemy that uses single target attacks for the turn, to target him.
If you do a slightly different route, or if you get a B-Boop spawn, which makes you level up earlier, you can do a 3-turn on this fight, but because we don't have the extra MP, we can't do it.
3-turn Asto is impossible, though.
Yeah, it's constantly memed on for being impossible because it requires some very good RNG.
Yeah, like, Asto, I don't think he did it here, but he can block. And if you block, you have to hit him with Kabu to, basically make him put down his guard. And he has, I think, 2 extra defense when he's blocking. So you need a good amount of, like, damage, and also, like, for him to hit Kabu a decent amount, for the strat to be a 3-turn. So this guy's kind of like, he kind of just wants us to like end him, but we're actually like kind of nice, and we're just like, we just want the key. So we just get the key and leave.
And now we have both parts to the Sandcastle key.
This is another thing where that is affected by B-Woo spawn. If we got a B-Woo spawn, we would have fought that one cackling there, but we're gonna fight these 2 cacklings.
Yeah, the reason that changes is because of the EXP route again. Our EXP route's very tight. Being off by 15 XP is too much, so we need to adjust for it.
Yep. So our XP route from here to the end of the run is basically going to be the same.
I also noticed that Jank got all those berries because if we have a lot of extra berries, we can get some extra items, which will save time later towards the end of the run.
Yep. This is the Dune Scorpion, kind of just like a small little mini boss here. Okay, we're fine. If you miss the block, there's a chance he can put you to sleep, and that's like pretty much the one way this fight can go wrong. And we're through.
Right?
I'd hope.
Yeah.
Oh no, weave. And you notice there's like these weird like things coming out of weave.
I wonder what that's about.
Yeah, I wonder what those are, but we're not gonna figure out in this run. Watch 100% for the full version. Or any category that does the optional dungeon, which is kind of like a secret area hidden within Snake Mouth.
Yep. There is a whole like incredibly fleshed out side quest.
Every character, every one of like Vikabu and Weef, or all of Team Snake Mouth have like their own like interesting lore. Like between like V and her sister, Weef, with like whatever's going on with him, and probably we'll find out his story in the next chapter.
Yeah. Probably doesn't really have a side quest. Well, he does, but it's very
Yeah.
short and barely anything, and that's after we've already figured out his entire story.
Okay, so we're gonna put in the sandcastle key, and it's kind of giving me flashbacks to Paper Mario 64's Chapter 2, where it was like a hidden secret in the desert.
You know, everyone says that, but when I first saw this cutscene, the first thing I heard was, I was like, oh, that sounds like the beginning of Donkey Kong. Because the music sounds like it. But I guess that's just a me thing.
Yep. So here's another like kind of tricky movement dungeon in the sandcastle. Yep. So this is kind of like there's kind of like some interesting ice magic sorcery going on here. Nice. That's a pretty difficult trick. That saves quite a bit of time.
It skips having to push the ice block all around the room.
All right. Our pace is actually pretty good, so I'm gonna unwisely try to go for a really stupid strat in this room.
Yeah, so if we avoid all the respawn triggers in this room, there's a strat you can do, kind of just like walk on top of the wall. There's a little scene that you can walk on airily.
I did not practice that, by the way. I just did that.
Yep. And then you can just fall while you're getting the key and respawn at the beginning of the room. Similar to the strat, except not. You can skip this little
always,
puzzle just by freezing the enemy.
I always freeze them like too far over and I can't make it over. There's another like thing I'm gonna try to do in here. I don't think I'm making the cycle. But
Oh my god.
no. Yeah, so this is like the same as a normal cycle, but there's like a little swag jump, and also if you're really good, you can actually skip that cycle. We call that the Indiana Jones strat.
It was kind of like Indiana Jones.
Okay. Gotta be careful here. You can actually like, this is actually like the second floor of the sandcastle, and you can fall down here, and if you fall down, you have to backtrack all the way back. I've never seen it happen to anyone, but it's always a thing to be worried about. Here's the next
happened to
first
me.
room. Yep. Oh, I didn't think that guy would be on there.
Yeah, so we freeze these enemies. So the puzzle here, like, there's like a puzzle here. You read like those war tablet things. And it tells you, it basically gives you a riddle that
Another cool
tells
picture,
you
right?
how to solve the puzzle. Yeah. Oh yeah,
And
so
we just avoid it.
yeah, we avoid it. We have to do part of it, but we can avoid the other half.
Little poke at the world record at the new world record here because it lost a lot of time to this room. I'm gonna do a thing called sister skip here.
It's called Sister Skip because it was found by the world records holder's sister.
Yep, you can just turn off and back on that ice thingy to just stop the ice block in its place.
Yep. All right, so welcome to coin flip. Oh, we won the coin flip. Nice.
Nice. You want at least 2 of those guys to freeze, or else you lose a turn on this fight.
And it's about a coin flip whether or not that happens.
It's actually about 57%.
Oh, it's better than a coin flip.
Yes.
But we just
I
always
didn't
call it
coin
coin
it.
flip.
Yeah, I didn't coin it coin flip. Even though I made the strat, I did not call it coin flip.
I never actually knew that. Interesting. Never MP rank up here.
I originally made the strat because it was part of the power exchange list route that we talked about earlier, because you're forced to do that without power exchange. The alternative is to equip power exchange, so it's guaranteed that you kill them, but that's slow.
You have to put it back on. Yeah, it's slow, and you have to put it back on right before this fight coming up.
You know what's funny is I'm pretty sure the strat was originally called Equipless, which names it way
It is
better
called
than coin
Equipless.
flip.
It is called Equipless, but I
Yeah,
guess
but
the fight
coin
is called
flip.
coin flip or something like that. Okay,
Yeah,
so
it
The
kind
more
of got
accurate
interchanged.
coin flip would actually be this freaking watcher.
yeah, I'm gonna give you a strat that I actually came up with a couple weeks ago, I think. It's about a 55%. We're gonna use a move called Frigid Coffin, and it'll freeze this guy about 55% of the time.
We're going to be making heavy use of Frigid Coffin later to freeze some, or to try and freeze some bosses. The thing about Frigid Coffin is it gives an extra 30% chance to freeze. Like it decreases the resistance by an extra 30%.
Okay, so it didn't freeze, but he didn't up his defense, so we're fine. Yeah, worst case scenario is he doesn't freeze and he either raises his defense or heals. And sorry, I have not come up with backup strats for them. For defense up in particular. Because normally you'd be able to use Hurricane Toss on the second turn to ignore that defense. And also he can go underground and Hurricane Toss would actually hit him regardless. But if I would have frozen him, it would have one, skipped a turn, and second, it would have allowed me to skip the last attack on that second turn. So that saves quite a bit of time.
Yeah, so the Watcher dropped this little blue gem thing, and turns out that's not the artifact. I wonder what that could be used for. I guess we'll never find out.
It says the real artifact, though, is here. So now do we have all the artifacts? I'd hope so.
Definitely.
For the time being.
Done with chapter 4. Done with chapter 4, and there's 7 chapters in the game. So we're actually starting what we call the final third of the run. Because we're about 2/3 of the way through the run. $51.12 final third time.
Definitely certain that this is the end of the game, right? We have all the
World record
artifacts,
pace.
actually.
World record pace, man.
Yeah, what if the real artifact was the friends we made along the way?
Alright,
So it turns out, no, it's not that simple. The Ant Kingdom's under attack.
who could have done such a thing other than the wasps?
Fair enough. It is the wasp.
We're just simply gonna avoid every single one of these wasps and let them keep rampaging through the kingdom while we just rush straight to the throne room.
My favorite room of this is the bridge right here. You can just dash directly upwards.
Yep.
I found that strat, and when I told Corellius, he was just like, wait, you could just go. So they just attack right behind you, and they just don't hit you.
Okay, this is the Wasp King. We're just gonna do nothing.
Yep.
You might wonder why we're doing nothing.
Why did you block?
For swag points. It doesn't really matter, but
Yeah.
It's
Yeah.
actually faster to let every character die here, so that's why we had V at 1 health, and it's actually good for the Watcher, the previous boss, to get other bugs to lower health, so that way that we can easily have characters die here, so we have less turns to do nothing, because it's actually unwinnable.
Yeah, that
That's
fight's
actually,
scripted.
yeah.
You lose after 3 turns, guaranteed.
Yep, that is actually one downside that we found with the frigid coffin strat, is that if it goes for perfectly, none of the characters will actually be damaged. Alright, so Kabu's like kind of really angry about something.
Maybe it has to do with somewhere we're going. I don't know.
Yeah, makes sense.
Yeah, because we need to go to the Wasp Kingdom to get the artifact back.
Alright, so our final trip to this room where we're gonna turn in our discoveries for 2 crystal berries and turn in the other bed book that we got.
And there's one more reroll game, so get your guesses in now.
Yep. Before that though, we're gonna have to collect a couple of our crystal berries to have enough to even afford the medal that we're gonna get. Spoiler, is this another poison attacker?
Yep. The reason we don't get all these medals at once is because certain medals only unlock once you get to certain points in the story. Like, the first poison attacker is there immediately, but the power exchange doesn't appear until chapter 4 starts, and yeah, the second poison attacker doesn't appear until chapter 5 starts.
That was a very good dash, by the way.
Yeah, that's a nice dash. So here we're actually gonna buy 3 spicy berries. The beginner route actually buys 4, but we're gonna buy 3. Just trust me on this. I've never run into that save crystal. Might honestly be a good time to save, because I haven't done that in a while actually, but... Okay.
Not 0.
Wait, what am I doing? I don't need to do that. So funny thing is, I have gotten... You can guess how many I've gotten rerolls, but it's an insane amount on
Right,
that
so,
particular
yeah.
poison attacker.
Let's all play another game. So that was what, 1 or 2 for that specific
That
one?
was 2.
Yeah, so there's 2. Let's play a game. Let's all guess how many rerolls, or like the maximum number of rerolls Jank has gotten.
I think I remember this number. I forget.
It's a 2 in 9 chance to get that specific poison attacker.
Alright, here's the last bit of cooking we gotta do, so hopefully we don't screw it up. Fun fact, I screwed this up in a practice run.
Oh.
Okay, we're fine. Oh, Ilu guesses 2. Any more takers? 18? Alright, so the answer is...
Don't say it yet. Don't
Oh,
say it
not
yet.
yet?
I want a couple more to roll in.
Alright. I'll let you say it.
Alright, it's 22.
Worst part is, that's not even the most anyone's gotten.
Yep. Aurelius.
Corellius.
How much did he get? He got 40?
Yes.
Yeah, 40.
With slow rerolls too. Alright, so welcome to the far grasslands. This music is really good, but we don't get to hear much of it. Watch 100% for the full version.
I didn't know that dash was a thing. What?
Yep. Actually not as bad as it looks. So I'm gonna one day like fall down. Alright, so enjoy the wild. I hope you enjoy the wild grasslands. Now we're in the wild swamplands. Well, 94, that's a lot of berries actually. Usually you could have like maybe 60 or 70 by this point. Oh, also here's another like funny soft pluck area. And I actually found out through a Reddit page, so I'm gonna be extra safe there.
I forget
Oh
what
my
the magic
God.
number is. I think it. What was the magic? I
I
had a
have
magic
them written
number.
down somewhere. I have them written down somewhere.
Put them on your route. But
It wasn't 69, was it?
No.
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 Alright, so these are the leaf bugs. And the thing about them is whenever one of them gets damaged, all the other leaf bugs get +1 charge. But we just kind of 2-turn them, so, or 1-turn them.
Yeah, charge is basically just an attack buff for your next attack.
Yep, it can stack up to 3 times. Zasp also actually has that ability whenever you attack Mothaba when you're fighting him.
Yeah, there are a couple of items that do that too. What's important to know about charge is that if it's on an item, it's technically considered healing for whatever reason.
Foreshadowing.
The number is 85.
85, yes.
85 to get you the best possible thing. Or like best possible loadout. But you can get you're still fine if you have like a lot less, but like this particular item that that gives you a charge, if you have like over 80 berries, you could buy an extra one for a little bit of a faster shot on a fight in Chapter 7. And also, this is an interesting thing here. We learned that V can fly, but she kind of just gets sniped.
Mm-hmm.
And now we're separated from Maki.
I think she flies in Chapter 1.
Yeah, I was gonna say in Chapter 1.
Yeah.
So it's been a while, but welcome back to Flying V.
Time for Kabu to unleash his rage. So, anyone want to explain the lore of Kabu and his relationship with this area?
So basically, he's telling it now, but he was on an exploration team previously, and while he was from the northern land, which is where he came from, he had to go through this area to get to Bulgaria, and well, there's a creature that lives here that unfortunately killed the rest of his team.
Yep, and he was like the rookie, but he was the only survivor.
Mm-hmm.
And it may or may not be this thing that just walks by us. Oh, here's a quite close attention to this room because we're gonna do a pretty clever trick here. Skip 2 entire rooms of this dungeon.
All plan skip time.
Yep.
This
Not
is
a
the
glitch.
closest you'll get to a glitch in the glitchless run.
Well, maybe that's kind of pushing it a little bit. There's a thing that we're gonna do starting in Chapter 6. That can also be like considered
True.
to a glitch.
I still think this is closer. It's more convoluted, I guess.
There.
All right, so for some reason, we're gonna be getting back onto this bridge for one particular reason.
Equips. And now we're gonna take advantage of the Beamerang's rebound. As it comes back to V, it passes through that
I
switch.
got that.
And oh my god, what was that freeze?
What is
it doing?
That's a strat that we call Jank Cycle because like I wasn't the discoverer of it, but I was like the first person to like actually start doing that in runs. I did that on accident, and I'm like, what the heck is this?
Are we just gonna ignore the leaf bug?
Yeah, that leaf bug has done something I've never seen before.
That's the first time I've seen that too.
When I heard you guys ask what is he doing, I thought you were like, what am I doing? Rather than the leaf bug.
The leaf bug.
Did you not see it, Jake?
I think I've seen that before when I do that strat.
Anyway, so now we're fighting the beast that killed Kabu's team.
Yep.
Because we're definitely not reckless or anything.
Yep.
And this is another time that we use break.
So it's actually important that we break first. Because the spicy candy restores TP. And break uses 2 TP, and that allows us to do an extra hurricane here.
Yes, this is basically the Pokemon Skull Teeth.
Yep.
I saw that when I first played this game, and
So in this phase, it's actually going to insta-kill both V and Leaf, but Kabu actually manages to hold on.
Again.
Yup. He's just determined to kill this thing. Ah, dang. I have to... If he didn't heal there, I could have actually done another failed attack, but... We got one failed attack and it's fine.
I was gonna say, Jank, you really need to stop missing your blocks like that, but you know... you spoiled it.
But yeah, that's scripted. Once the beast gets to 10 HP, it'll do that no matter what.
My name is Kabu. You killed my teammates. Prepare to die. Okay. So now we're gonna meet back up with Maki, but due to the injury that he got from that bridge area, he basically just gives us a mission to sneak inside the Lost Kingdom. That's 5.
Apparently he hurt his leg, but he can still stand just fine, so I don't know what that's about.
It is not actually possible to damage it. It will always live with 10 HP until it hits that phase. It is 100% scripted. And yeah, that is indeed the last medal rank up we get in the run. Alright, so similar to the bandit hideout, we can't get... If we get seen by any of these wasps, we'll get caught.
Unlike the bandit hideout, if we do get caught, we only have to restart the room and not the entire thing.
You didn't see it, but it's pretty awful. If you get caught in the bandit hideout, you get thrown back in the cell. So you may have to redo, like, 2 entire screens. Okay. So once again, we're gonna put strong start not on our main attacker, who you can tell is gonna be Kabu.
I don't think we talked about it, but one of the drawbacks to Strong Start is that
We did.
the exhaustion ramps up more.
When we got strong start, we talked about it. How it doubles exhaustion.
Forgot about that then.
Yeah, this is another cursed room.
Oh, I see.
Fortunately, missed the geyser cycle there.
I see what we're talking about. What they're talking about in chat with like the Pebble Frostbite exploit with the beast. Yeah, there's a pretty interesting interaction with that.
Yeah, so there's an ability. There's a medal called Mighty Pebble, which gives Kabu an ability called Pebble Toss, which will do 1 damage to an enemy, always. And that ignores damage caps, that ignores everything. You can use that plus quite a few other weird medal interactions to skip some of the damage caps in this game.
Sure, cycle.
Nice.
So yeah, I actually was able to sneak the beamerang behind that driller, get that switch to cycle early. If your movement's good enough, then you can do that. They can actually see the beamerang when you throw it, so you have to be careful about that as well.
And now we have the ability to go right through enemies again.
Yep.
For whatever reason.
When
It just
Kabu upgraded his dash, oh, you mean
No,
like
I
the
meant,
stealth?
like-
Yeah.
Yeah, the stealth section is over.
So that's the character named Jade. She has a pretty interesting exclusive item called the Jade Stew, which heals 7 TP and 7 HP.
And
We're not
only
gonna get
costs
it.
7 berries.
Yeah, but we're not
What a
getting it.
bargain.
Because we're trying to go fast.
For reference, the beginner strat for one specific fight coming up uses the Jade Stew. So we have to
you
point
get-
out that we're not getting it.
You get 2 extra items in the
One
beginner route. You get 2 extra items in the beginner route: an extra spicy candy and a Jade Stew.
Yep.
Alright, this-
No, what we're going for, we skip that.
You have to be very
Those
careful with the
ballsy.
menu in here. Alright, we're good.
Yeah, the relays for this fight are really weird because it's Kabu up front.
And one character can only relay their turn once, so if you relay it back to them, you're stuck with that turn. And the thing with like menuing is usually everything where you select the character starts with V. Except for when you're relaying with I think V herself.
Yeah, like all the menus go V Kabu Leaf in that order.
Yeah. So when you're relaying with V, it defaults to Kabu as the target.
which is a very good way to get thrown off and then relay it to Leaf.
Yep. So we have just met. So the guy that we just kind of dashed to the ground is named General Ultimax, and he's kind of just like a big mouth person, but he's not actually that strong. And we have also met Queen Vanessa II, who is the true ruler of the Wasp Kingdom, but she was usurped by the Wasp King, who like was able to like get super powerful with just the crown that he's wearing.
Yeah, there's a lot of interesting lore surrounding the Wasp King.
Yeah.
But we never got to see it.
Alright, so here's a super long cutscene. But this cutscene is actually kind of important to the story.
Yes, this is the cutscene where the Ant Queen basically shows her true self, and the entire reason that we wanted to get the sapling in the first place.
Literally shows her true self because she's actually about to remove her mask.
Yep.
Yeah. I was gonna say the plot twist is that she has like green eyes.
Yeah.
Yeah, she's gonna tell us the real reason why she wants the sapling. It's not for her.
It's actually because her mother, Queen Elizabeth I, is actually still alive.
Yep. She's just like she's just asleep.
Yeah, in a coma of some sort.
Yeah.
And she wants to get the everlasting sapling to bring her back so she can rule again, because Queen Elizabeth II is very insecure, apparently.
Yep. So we have discovered that where the sapling is, and it is in kind of a pretty interesting location that's basically no Bug's Land.
Yeah, it is in the Giant's Lair, and to get there we have to go through the rubber prison, which is across the sea.
We don't have any way to cross water, though.
Yep, so we need to go get a way to cross the water, and that means going to visit the termites, who are much more advanced, like, technology-wise.
The ants don't really have a good relationship with them, though.
But the fate of the world is kind of on the line here, so...
Yep.
This is also the last time we're going to be at the Ant Kingdom.
Yep.
Goodbye
Oh yeah,
forever.
true. So in the Wasp Kingdom and also here, we're gonna pick up some dark cherries, and these are kind of rare items that their main purpose is money in this run. They sell for 50 each. We're gonna do some big shopping coming up. Oh jeez.
Oh, the rock.
Another shout out to the Skulty. He's got a pretty interesting relationship with that particular type of enemy.
Yeah, the Lost Toss is called.
Okay, so we're in the Forsaken Lands, which is kind of like, this is the kind of area where if you don't go the right path, you're going to end up at the start. But, I mean, I honestly don't know how to get through it. Gonna be honest with you. There's a bridge here, I guess, and now, at this point, Via's left with no choice but to fly. Okay, but we're gonna do a very interesting thing here.
In a
So
supreme
remember
act of
ability
defiance.
Yup.
So if we do an ability jump with V's fly, we can get extra height, which is not a glitch, it is an exploit.
Also, another thing to note is whenever Queen Elizabeth is in your party, your bottom move in specials is Royal Decree, and you do not want to use it.
It's a cool move, but we do not want to use it, and it's very easy to accidentally use it here because you want to use break, and break is always at the bottom of the menu otherwise.
This is the only part of the run where it's actually a problem.
Yep. I was
Oh
going
my
to say,
god.
oh gosh.
Oh, that was spooky. That attack, if you don't block it, can stun everybody.
Yep, and then he can sunlock you.
Yep. There is apparently an interesting failsafe with stun lock.
Yeah,
so.
I learned this like yesterday. There's a failsafe.
Yeah.
If everybody is stun locked for 5 turns and nobody is able to move, then it'll just automatically heal all your statuses.
I was going to say, in a Supreme Act of Defiance, V is told fly across the bridge, and she goes, no, I want to fly across this pencil instead.
Yeah, so good thing that's a thing because I do not remember how to get through that area.
Yep, we basically skipped the entire area with that single fly jump.
Alright. Oh.
I do want to mention, basically the speedrun always does this skip, so when routing 100%, at one point I put on the route, go through this area the intended way, and I honestly had to like mess around on stream to try to find the intended way again because I forgot it.
Okay, so here we're gonna sell both dark berries, and because we have a stupid amount of berries, we're gonna buy
9 sodas.
9 Mega Rush.
Yeah, 9
trademarks.
Mega Rush trademarks. This may or may not be the item that we were talking about.
Yeah.
It
This
gives
is
you
the good soda.
Yep, it's good. It gives you 1 charge, attack up for 3 turns, and because it gives you a charge, it activates weak stomach. So you just do stupid amounts of damage.
Mm-hmm. There is a downside that after the attack up wears off, you get attack down for 3 turns, but none of the fights even last long enough for us to get to that.
Yeah. So, too long didn't read, it's broken. Yep. So, V's, so it's mainly the Termite King who, like, kind of wants an idea of, like, how strong we are to prove if we are really worthy, I guess, of their help.
Worthy of their boat.
Of a boat of a certain name, which we will get to later. But no, so we're gonna have to fight in the Coliseum. Oh, I also need to do this flip.
Oh yeah,
I don't do that equip normally, but I put the HP plus on for safety.
That is a good idea.
Because, well, that Primal Weevil fight that we beat can be a little scary without it. Also, a fight coming up here can also be scary without HP plus. But in attempts, I just put both Strong Start and Break, so I don't have to worry about it. So, we bought 9 Mega Rushes, so we're immediately going to start abusing them.
Mm-hmm.
It would be a great name for a speedrun event. Oh, true.
Yeah. TLDR. GDQ, get it up. New hotfix event.
I feel like that would be good for like runs with credits work.
Oh my god, yes.
And I'm just saying, I conceived this and pitched it to GDQ, so it's possible. It's possible for anyone to do.
Mm-hmm.
You know.
Oh my god, Ariel Adam. Don't spoil. Spoilers. So, we fought like basic enemies from the Forsaken Winds. Now we're gonna fight the 2 border guards, Cross and Poi.
And as you can see, we're doing insane amounts of damage.
Yep. We're so strong we don't even need the full Tornado Toss to beat Poi.
We do 18 damage in just the 3 out of 4 hits.
Yep. And here is an important rank up. This is why our XP route is the way it is.
We rank up specifically for the free heal and I guess the extra TP, but mostly for the free heal here. Because you have to do 3 consecutive battles without healing in between. The rank up is the only way to heal.
Unleash the Primal Weevil! Except we already fought this boss.
Like, seriously? We already fought this boss already, come on.
So why not fight another boss that we've already fought?
Exactly.
Here's another spooky frigid coffin strand.
Hey look, it's Zas from Athiva, they're back.
Yep. With some new music.
Really good music. You know the music is good when like the music stays when you enter the fight.
This music actually has some cursed history of it, like 100%.
Oh gosh. Yeah, so there's like this place in chapter 3 where you can refight
yeah.
enemies. Oh gosh.
That's a
And-
60%.
Scary.
And apparently when you refight the first version of Zaspermothova, it plays the music from the second version, even though you haven't really heard it in battle at this point. You've only heard it to introduce them back in
Okay, that's
chapter 2.
Okay, we're fine.
Easy.
I've only gotten like one freeze in this entire run, I think.
You got the third
freeze on
stutter freeze.
fighter. Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. We gotta do a little bit of a different strat, but we still beat him in another turn. The reason the Frigid Coffin strat is there is a safer strat that involves Leaf using Bubble Shield Light on V to protect her, but Frigid Coffin is a little bit faster, but it's quite risky. There is a legitimate chance that V can die, and you just have to restart the fight if that happens. Okay, so now we have pleased everybody.
Except for that one fan that says Mothova.
Yeah. And Mathiva's having her ego crushed.
Okay, we're gonna buy 2 honey drops.
It's very easy to miss menu on that shop.
Yeah, that shop is weird, and if you notice, like the items kind of like shuffled between back and forth. They kind of fixed that in one of the shops. In one of the shops in the previous patch, it was actually really, really bad, like that item glitch. Okay, so this is the moment we've all been waiting for. Say hello to the subaquatic maritime
Neo
transport.
For reference,
have
this
to
is
do
a
it.
meme in the community.
You have to say it. It is a requirement. Your run will not get verified if you don't say it. I'm kidding.
Yeah, I will. If your run does not say it, I will personally reject your run. No questions asked. Okay, so before heading over though, we're actually gonna stop by the bomb shop to pick up 2 Burley bombs. So say hello to Burley bombs again.
Yep. And the reason they're
The
better than
second- yeah.
break is well, for one fight we need the AoE, and which break doesn't do. And another fight we just don't have enough metal points to.
The second
put
one is actually the second
break.
bomb is actually optional, but it allows for a much faster strat in one fight.
Actually, no. The second bomb we need the damage, not like we could still put on break, but we need the damage.
No, actually, you need one bomb, but in particular,
yeah.
one fight. The second bomb is there's a different strat you can do without the bomb, but it's slower. Like,
Are we talking about the same fight?
no, I think you're talking about the final boss, but there's another
Yes,
boss that
I'm
isn't the
talking about
final
the
boss.
final boss.
Yeah, there's another boss that isn't the final boss where a Burley bomb is actually faster. But you need 1 Burley bomb for the final boss for this route, actually, because we can't do the same. We don't have the extra items.
Also, we're currently in the subaquatic maritime Neo transport, so you can kind of figure out where it is by the starts of each word.
Okay, so here's Barber Prison. There's a lot of interesting stuff that's gonna be happening here.
This is certainly a dungeon.
Yep.
Yeah.
We're not even gonna do it the intended way. Spoilers.
Yep, we're gonna do a lot of weird stuff.
Lots of fly jumps.
Lots of fly jumps and also getting like they're okay. So basically, they put I think there are 3 locks in this dungeon, or whatever. There are a certain number of locks in this dungeon, but it would be possible to soft lock yourself if you opened them in the wrong order. So the devs put an extra key on one of the enemies. We're actually just gonna grab one of the keys from that enemy and skip one of the slower keys.
So we're gonna do some well-timed fly jumps here.
I love how
Easy.
you just called it a well-timed fly jump. That's a quote from me.
There's a strat called left side skip. So there is a switch you can hit on the left side to lower the cage, but we can just, with a well-timed fly jump, we can just skip it.
And by well timed, it's like a few frame window. I don't think it's
dang.
frame perfect, but close.
Dang, I'm not gonna make the cool cycle. There's a cool respawn strat you can do here, but I was a little bit too slow. You basically just grab the key with the beam ring and then you eat yourself into the spike, and then you spawn back at the top. Okay, so the idea with this dungeon is there's like 4 history books, and there's like a puzzle with them.
Yep. You have to find. Well, you get all the books and you put them in order on a bookshelf. And actually, it reads out the very beginning of the game.
Nice safety equipment.
Okay, so this is the interesting thing we're gonna do here. We're gonna fight this driller. You can either understrike or dash through and do a regular attack. That understrike is risky.
Understrike is faster but riskier.
I have personally thrown a record pace run to it. Okay, so we're gonna get that key, and I think that like there's like a gym area you're supposed to like do to get another key, but we're just gonna completely skip that. You go straight to the cafeteria.
That dash there was actually really cool. You hit the switch there. I don't even know if that was intentional or not, but
I thought for sure I was gonna miss that, but there's a cool cycle skip there. That's pretty tight, but
oh yeah, this is the enemy that I had a please freeze moment with, where I tried to freeze it a good 4 times and then encountered it.
The iconic please freeze clip. I think that was the first clip I ever made in Science Channel.
Dang, I got stuck on the bridge.
Oof.
Ooh, I don't like the look of this.
You can...
I'm gonna heal.
Heal the bug.
I'll heal, yeah. That's never happened to me, but I basically just got stuck on that bridge. If you're good, you can avoid that.
And now we're basically finished with the dungeon. We just need to get that last book and place them all on the bookshelf.
You went for the fly there. There's a recent strat that we found where we could just jump there, but
I've never actually tried it. I've never actually tried it, but yeah, it's kind of interesting. Okay, so the reason one of the honey grafts that we bought was actually to heal like 5 TP, which is why we only use 5 TP per total one fight. But I got damaged, so we're gonna heal at the Venus Blood right before the upcoming boss.
Yeah, optimally you just wouldn't get damaged, and then you would be able to skip this.
Yep. It's not that hard to avoid all the first strikes, but it does happen.
So yeah, here comes the Chapter 6 boss, which is not the Wasp King, actually, but it is General Ultimax again.
Who has a tank.
And like me said, that's cheating.
There's a lot of like curious questions as to how they even got a tank into Rubber Person.
I mean, clearly it just fell out of the sky.
Exactly.
Alright, so this fight I've also lost a record pace too.
Someone asked in chat, are wooden cranks unique in this game, or can you get one early glitch to here and use one here? You can get one early glitch to here and use one here. In fact, you do that in the glitched run. Oh, at least you did before Predator was a thing.
And we still do 100%.
Yep.
Right, the spooky part. No!
Oh no!
Oh god.
Yeah, that attack is a meme, but V is like has -1 defense, so she's super vulnerable to that attack. Where are my freezes? That's a 65% freeze. I haven't been having awful freeze luck lately. Where are the missiles? Okay.
Glad that wasn't on Leaf. That would have been scary.
Are you serious?
Amazing.
This freeze luck is actually amazing. Okay, this fight isn't like... It's not often you'll lose this fight, but you just lose a lot of time if he dies. Okay, we're fine. Okay, so... We're just gonna freeze him, because he just won't shut up.
Oh, now we get the freeze.
Yeah, now we get the...
Would have been useful earlier, Leaf.
Ideally, I would have hit the super blocks. So if I actually hit at least one super block and normal block both of the slaps on V, I would have been fine. But that slap is like... It's a kind of attack where it's like, if you miss one block, you kind of just lose all of them. Alright, we're actually really low on health, and this area is a little bit spooky, so I'm gonna save.
Hey, look, we're almost done with the game, actually.
The Everlasting Sapling. Alright, so welcome to
That's the
the
name of the game.
Deadlands. Welcome to the Deadlands. Where's the save crystal? Oh, it's right before the, it's there. Okay. I thought it was there a little bit earlier.
So Venus is just telling us here that she can't really go anywhere farther.
Some really cool strats were actually discovered here recently to save actually quite a bit of time.
Yeah, so this is crazy. These strats are crazy. So, like you saw there, there's what's called the Deadlander Omega. It has a bunch of eyes and a bunch of hands, and it sees you with drops of Deadlander Gamma on top of you, which is a very strong enemy you do not want to fight.
All these enemies around here are actually like very strong. They're basically mini bosses.
They're considered mini bosses in spy cards, so they must be.
Yeah, I knew that was off. But we're fine. Please don't fail to run away. Okay. We're okay. If you do that right, you won't actually encounter Matt Deadlander. But that is a very tricky strat. Like the fly jump onto that coin. Ooh. Yeah, here's one of the things that was discovered. You can dash right onto that platform. Normally you'd have to like jump over, but you can dash and it's a little bit faster. So before we go to the next area, there's this little like red crystal.
I thought it was a trap on my first playthrough. Because it's
Well,
the
it kind of
only
is
red
because it attracts the Deadland.
Yeah, but
Yeah,
but it's the only red crystal in the game. It just heals you without saving.
Yeah. There's a save crystal right here, so like, why is it there?
I don't know.
All right, so here's the Deadlander's fight. This is the optional Burly Bomb strat.
Yep. So you use a Burly Bomb here to lower the... All of these guys have defense. So yeah, we can do piercing damage, well, extra piercing damage on all of them now with the Burly Bomb.
one question I want to answer in chat. The game is... Okay, so playing this casually, you can play it on keyboard or controller. However, controller has better angles for the run. So we use keyboard and controller for double mashing, but overall, most runners use controller for movement because you just save time with better angles.
Personal self-poke, I started running the game with just moving with the D-pad. It's not pleasant.
It really isn't.
Only having 8 directions to go into really limits your ability to move. Okay, so now there's like this giant, we're literally gonna send a fridge. And we're not doing this like the intended way at all.
Nope. I hope you like fly jumps.
This is like one of the greatest ways that we use fly jumps.
I heard you like fly jumps, so I gave you some fly jumps with your fly jumps.
Yes.
This fly jump is a 2-frame window.
Okay, I'm gonna jump here because that block is notorious for eating your flies. So, for some reason, if you jump there, it makes the fly 100% consistent.
One last cool hit strat to round it off.
Okay.
And that is Fridge.
Yep. Okay.
Ultimately, you can do that in under a minute.
Yeah. I think the best gold person's gold is like a 55 second or something. And apparently, like 53 seconds is possible.
Yeah, so it turns out
yep.
there are actually people that live here. The
Yep, the
roaches, which
roaches.
were thought to be extinct.
Yeah, they're kind of just like the ancestor tribe of bugs, I guess. Oh yeah, the thing about this run in particular is that's quite accessible. There's not too many like hard strats you have to learn right off the bat. So they kind of just don't want us to the roach hunter doesn't really want to let us pass, but we kind of give her
Leaf just gives a speech.
Speech. If you do the optional thing for Leaf's story, the dialogue is actually different. But we still convince him otherwise, so it's actually important to know what items we buy here. You need at least one glazed honey, everything else is backup.
Is the chart up?
I don't have it up yet, but I'll pull it up later. So this is actually the fight where you can actually make use of an optional Mega Rush.
I was going to say, instead of really going from out of the frying pan into the fryer, we go into the fire. We go out of the fridge and into the fire, so it's even more
Whereas
shocking to us.
We like to call it the oven. Because
Why do we call it oven?
When you oven the cold food, about hot eat the food.
Another couple interesting tricks we're gonna do here. We're gonna make use of this interesting like collision with this breakable rock, and we're also gonna do a fly jump to get on top of here.
Called the J-Fly. Shoutouts to J-Cock.
Is that actually why it's called J-Fly?
I'm
Because he
pretty
found
sure.
that.
JCOG actually found it.
Well, that's cool. Okay. So here's a kind of cursed room, actually. There's like an ice puzzle with moving platforms, and sometimes it just doesn't like to behave well.
Final first room.
I think Corellius has a pretty funny clip with this cursed room.
Oh
Where,
gosh,
like,
yes.
Which deactivated.
Yeah, I clipped that because I was there when it happened. The ice block on this switch, sometimes it likes to be a little finicky with like whether it's
Lighting.
actually on or not. So the door closed behind him as he was dashing through.
I think it's because he got it in the very corner, I think, was the problem.
Yeah,
Yeah, so we
and
also just skipped that puzzle with some fly jumps.
yeah, we just went on top of the button.
Alright, so now we just gotta turn off the burners on the oven to allow everyone to get through, because even though we can just go through on our own, I guess we just gotta let everyone else through.
There was one time where I hit those switches and Kabu went flying.
Oh yes!
Oh yeah, that wasn't a race against me.
Yeah, that wasn't a race. It didn't waste any time, but it was really funny.
Okay. Onto the not actual final boss, but this is the well. Okay.
What do you mean?
let's
This
call-
is the final boss?
Yeah, I mean this is the final boss, the Wasp King,
Totally.
as expected. So he's gonna like unlock the path to the sapling, but
We're gonna stop him.
so he also wants the sapling because he wants to be like a god basically. but we're going to stop him. And we have the power of the Flame Brute given to us by Queen Vanessa, which protects us slightly from his fire magic, which would otherwise annihilate us.
That is why we are able to withstand anything he does. Now there's one last Frigid Coffin. This is another 65% chance.
Please freeze, indeed. Oh, he's gonna be funny.
Oh, the burly
God.
chips. You can still Frigid Coffin this.
Yeah. Some of us like to call this guy like the funny man or comedy because he can do some funny things. Like the burly chips that he just did. I mean, fire is super effective on bugs, according to Pokemon. Okay, I don't remember what the burly shred is, so I think he just like hit him an extra time or something.
I think, yeah, Tornado hit him.
He should still die to the next hit if he does. Okay, we're fine.
Easy.
And now we got another chart coming up because
Yeah, it turns
something's
out
happening.
that wasn't the final boss. And we just finished comedy. Now we have high comedy.
Yup. So we're gonna talk about the shred a little bit. What I'm gonna try to do is a pretty absurd shred. So this final boss has 3 phases. So, and they're all scripted. So the minimum amount of turns you'd be able to beat this boss is 3 turns, and that's exactly what I'm gonna try to do.
There is a 40%
It's about a 40%
chance. Yeah, this is a 40% chance that you even can do it with the strats.
Assuming you hit all the super blocks.
Yes. And some of these attacks are really hard to super block. Keyblade.
He can bind, he can keyblade, he can do all sorts of funny stuff.
Yeah.
So in this fight, we actually you can use a burly bomb or break in this fight actually, but
No, you need the
you
burly
have
bomb.
to use burly bomb if you want to do my route.
The burly bomb does just enough extra damage to hit him to the damage cap to start the next phase immediately. So that's phase 1. Obviously that's free because he didn't have a chance to attack yet.
If you're good enough at mashing, you can actually escape that without taking damage.
Ooh, okay, Bud's good.
And you
Bud is
kind
always
of
good.
want that to happen when you target to deal with it, but I've never actually gotten it. So
Still
that's a
good.
little bit spooky, but we'll see what
The
happens.
40% chance does not account for potentially getting damageless Bud.
Yep. There is one move he's about to do in this next phase, and if he hits me with it, yeah, there's nothing you can do about that.
If he hits any one butt Kabu with it, there's nothing you can do about
And
it.
if he hits Kabu, you have to super block it.
Yep.
And I've had scenarios where that actually happened, so let's see if he does it.
I forget the exact chance. I'm pretty sure it's 7 in 24.
He's gonna die. Yep, she's dead. Great. So we're gonna have to do some interesting backups here. If I hit
it's
damage
this
this Bud, I
backup.
think he would have lived. Yeah, this is a pretty common backup.
Yeah, so I made the chart for this with all the backups. It's kind of crazy, the scale of this flowchart. And yeah, so optimally you get the 3 turn, but obviously the 60% of the time you don't get it, you're gonna need something else.
Okay, I hope he doesn't, he can kill V, possibly. Okay, that's fine. We'll beat him this turn.
I will say this chart is so extensive that I literally printed it out just so I could have it physically
We call it
instead
the
of putting it up
periodic
on the
table will be
screen.
okay.
Yes.
Okay, but we get a rank up. It doesn't really matter. It's just like XP route stuff.
Oh yeah,
so-
that is actually the final boss, so now we're done with
Yep.
the game. Just a couple
Except-
minutes of cutscenes.
Yeah, except there's a couple cutscenes that we're gonna be doing. So there's like last little bit of movement for like a celebration ceremony for like defeating the Lost King. So I'd like to say while these cutscenes are going on, so I'd just like to say thank you, GDQ, for allowing me to run this at One-and-Done-athon. And if you want to know where to find me, twitch.tv/Jankmo_O. I stream runs of this game as a prominent runner of this game, and also other games like Super Meat Boy. And I've also run some Celeste. So yeah, and also tonight, I plan on possibly maybe doing a world record reveal stream, because this week Akuroe has actually broke the world record and has invited me along with Cyan to provide commentary for it. So does either review Ash or Cyan have any last things to say?
Yeah, thanks for having us. If you are interested in Bug Fables speedrunning at all, after watching this really amazing run, you can join our Discord, which is linked on the speedrun.com page. And
we got a really great community.
Yeah,
yep.
Really great community. We will all welcome you there. There are lots of guides for beginners. Yeah.
Okay, so here's something funny. I actually have the best gold for this segment.
In this segment, from the end of the final boss to the end of the game. Oh yeah, by the way, time is gonna come when it fades to white at the end of this cutscene.
Not when it's gonna fade to white, then it's gonna fade to black. When the fade out to black starts, I think, is when the official timer is like the official time. But we have an auto splitter that kind of like it's whatever.
Well, yeah, for like the run, we need time though. For GDQ timer. Anyways, yeah.
Time. Well, that was Bug Fables. Any percent glitchless. Yeah, thank you everyone for 2:24:22 on my splits.
Oh,
That is a really good time.
Yeah, it really is.
Yeah, thanks everyone for having me
new
and
record?
watching. New world record is a 2:20:34, and my PB is a 2:21:36. And
so this was a really good time.
Yeah. So, yeah. Hope you all enjoyed, and yeah.
Yep.
Yeah, really good run. Thank you for doing it.
Yep, thank you for having me. And see you never.
Yeah.
Yeah. See you again, never.
I'm now banned from One-and-Done-athon. Yay!
And with the end of that run, you know, we say the classic, goodbye, Jankmo, forever.
Bye forever.
Bye forever. So coming up next, we've got a bunch of really quick runs. We've got Bug Snacks, we've got Cat in the Hat, we've got One Shot into SM64 and Super Mario Bros. 2. So stick around. We'll be right back after a break.
Yep. Good luck to those runners.